All right, my Cameron Crazies, my Duke Blue Devils fam, Duke Blue Devils Nation. This is your Duke Blue Devils Game 12 recap from yesterday. And in Game 12, for the first time this year, Duke falls 82-81 to the Texas Tech Red Raiders. This now drops the Duke Blue Devils record to 11-1 on the year. Cameron Boozer led the way for Duke with 23 points. Caleb Foster and Nicholas Kamenya each had 8 points. Isaiah Evans and Patrick Dagumba each had 4 points. Duke's bench had a total of 34 points. Duke was led off the bench by Caden Boozer with 13 of those points. Cameron Boozer had the most rebounds for Duke. Cameron Boozer had the most rebounds for Duke with 8 rebounds. Cameron Boozer had the most rebounds. Cameron Boozer had the most rebounds for Duke with 8 with. Sorry guys. So Cameron Boozer had the most rebounds for Duke with 8 rebounds, and Cameron Boozer also had the most assists for Duke with 7 assists. Your player of the game is going to be Cameron Boozer with 23. Your player of the game for Duke is going to be Cameron Boozer with 23 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. He added in 2 steals and a block. Duke's next game is not until Wednesday, December 31st at home against the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Like I said, they started the season better than I thought. I figured when they got to that 12th game and they were done with their out-of-conference schedule there for a while, when they got to their 14th straight conference game, I didn't expect them to be 11-1. I didn't expect them to be 12-0, little 11-1. I figured with the teams they played, I figured we'd lose to Florida. I figured we'd beat Michigan State. Because we play 5 ranked teams and we're 4-1 against them. Obviously, I figured we were going to lose to Kansas and Florida. And then I figured we were going to lose. I knew we'd beat Arkansas because they were ranked. I figured we'd beat Arkansas, Michigan State, and Texas Tech. And then I figured we'd lose to Florida and Kansas. So I figured we'd be I thought we'd be at least 10. I thought we'd be 10-2 through them 12, but we're 1 game better than I thought we would be, so that's a plus. Now we start conference play, and looking at the conference and what some of these teams have done so far in the ACC, Duke should easily be able to get some wins here. The way they've been playing, I mean, they didn't even play bad in this game. Duke had a 17-point lead in the second half. I think at one point they were still even up double digits with around 7-8 minutes to go. And Duke does what they do sometimes, and they blew a lead. They did it. Hell, they did it. Heck, they did it a few times last year with the great Cooper Flagg. Look at the Final Four game. A game we had in hand with about 3 or 4 minutes left. We were up by 10, 11 points. I'm sorry, but if you're up by double digits with 3 or 4 minutes to go, you shouldn't be losing a game. But Duke did it last year in the Final Four, and I think had we not done that, we would have probably won the Natty. But it happens. It happens. But anyways, Duke looking good on the year. First loss, not a big deal. It's basketball. Nobody goes undefeated. But anyways, I'm not mad, just disappointed. They had a substantial lead they had that 17-point lead with under 10 minutes to go, and they blew it. Should have never got that close. They should have never lost. They should be 12-0, but it is what it is. It happens. But anyways, guys, hope we can get back on the winning ways in about a week and 3 days, because obviously they don't play again till, a week and 2 days now, since I didn't do this yesterday. But since they don't play till Wednesday, since Duke don't play again till Wednesday, December 31st, that's a week and basically 3 days from now. From yesterday, I'm not counting Wednesday because they play that day, so they're off for the next week and 2 days now. if I would have done this video yesterday, we're off for a week and 3 days, but since I'm doing it today, Duke's off for a week and 2 days now. Like I said, Duke's next game is Wednesday, December 31st. It is our first conference game against, Duke's next game is Wednesday, December 31st. Like I said, Duke's next game is Wednesday, like I said, Duke's next game is Wednesday, December 31st at home against Georgia Tech. It is our first conference game of the year, and it will start a string of 14. It will start a string of 14 straight conference games for us. It will start a string of 14 straight conference games for us. You're also going to notice when I do my game recaps now, when I put the record there starting Wednesday, December 31st, it won't just say their overall record. It's going to have their conference record on there too. So, anyways, go Duke.